that was a moment where I think my image had been stolen, right, by somebody and used in that context. And I was like, so if I go back to that moment, Caroline gives me the setup. She's like, okay, you're saying this because so-and-so and such and such. Really? Okay. So it's me doing me badly? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So it's me. How would Shepard say that? Shepard would never say that. Someone has stolen Shepard's image and makes so. This has to be not just Shepard, but someone's image of Shepard, but it has to sound like Shepard. So actually, I'm not really doing the character. I'm doing a different character that's imitating Shepard. Okay, ready. Now I have to think all those thoughts like that. Boom, 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 and go. Start recording. That's how much time all that compresses into. And then I'll do 1 or 2 takes. And she'll go, okay, give me an adjustment. Okay, do another with this and this added. Okay, and then I'll do the adjustment, and then we're done. And we move on to the next line. You know, or you need to keep doing it until you get the adjustment. Adjustment it's a word that's flying by in this conversation, but it's everything. You know, like if I say, give me that. You know, no, there's gunfire. Give me that. Okay, there's gunfire and you're about to die. Give me that! But you're not worried. There's gunfire, you're not worried, you're pissed off with them. Give me that. No, there's more noise. Give me that! You know, it's like, okay, there's all these adjustments. Those are all fine adjustments. You've got to make those happen. Which is why when people ask me about voice acting, I say get into an acting class. Because it takes a few minutes in the beginning. It's like learning a dance step, you know. It takes or learning to play a controller. It'd be like me trying to use a controller. It's painfully slow to make those adjustments in the beginning, but the more you do it, the faster you get at it. And that's where you gotta practice. Because if you're gonna be in my part of the business, you're gonna go up against me and people like me. So you better be ready to play. This side of the room, yes.
So I'm curious, at what point in your career you felt like, wow, it's kind of snowballing now and I'm getting the work, versus early on where you're really kind of just looking for work?
It just sort of happened. I did it in a particular way that I actually highly recommend. I was in what they call a small market first. I was in Birmingham, Alabama. And I was a teenager. And I made my little demo tape and I put on a suit and put my hair up. And I went door to door, cold calling ad agencies to try to get work in commercials, and I had a little schedule that I would call them back and check in, like a sales clerk, salesperson. And it just sort of built that way, and I built my business in Birmingham that way, and I would always ask people ahead of me in the game, people who were a lot better than me, when they had a second, just, hey, what do you think about that? Any suggestions? Okay, great. And then I'd leave. I didn't often ask them to pull time out of their day, because they don't have time. No one has time. But I spent a lot of time in a small market, putting in a lot of hours. I did 7 or 8 years in a small market before I went to LA. I went Birmingham and then Atlanta. And I could really cut my teeth and become top of that market. So I got in my 10,000 hours. You guys familiar with? Probably not. Some of you are. That book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, excellent book. It talks about once you put in your 10,000 hours, you really got some expertise in something. And math person, okay, let's say you sleep 8 hours, or you technically should. You've got other stuff to do for a few hours a day. So you've got like maybe 4 to 6 hours a day. You could really spend on something that's not making a living, etc., that's building a new business, which is what this would be. Divide 10,000 by 4. Anyone? Oh wait, hold on. 2,500, okay? All right, so 2,500. So can somebody divide 2,500 by 300? 300? What is it? 7 or 8. So that's how many years it's going to take you to really get to expert status. But the thing that happened for me was, because I had my 7 or 8 years, and I did more than 4 to 6 hours a day, because it was my full-time job down there. When I got to LA, I went to cut my demo, and the woman who cut my demo, I went to the best person I could find who does working people's demos, and I had her direct me. She told me what to do, and I did everything she said. And when I walked in there, she didn't know me from anybody. And in 45 minutes, I was able to knock out 8 completely different kinds of commercials. And she was like, oh my God. I wasn't that brilliant. I had just done my hours. But everyone thought, oh my God, she's so brilliant. No, I just put in my time, but I didn't tell her that. I was like, oh, thanks. I just want to do it. And then I got an agent within a month, and I got my first cartoon series within a month. But it's because I've built up all that pressure behind. And this is the thing, the ability to delay gratification is a superpower. I'm not kidding you. With money, with your art, with your career, with relationships, with everything, it's a freaking superpower. So let's go get it. Yes, back to this side. There was someone toward the back, I think, on this side who had a question. Question on this side then? Anyone? Bueller? Toward the back there. Glasses. You turn your head around. Yes. Peter. Oh, Peter. Could you talk slower and a little bit louder? I can't quite hear you at this distance.
Mass Effect really came alive to me as the emotional investments that sort of came with it. And I was wondering if there are any parts in particular that really got you invested in it. Like, you know, in war and scenes, like Enterprise, all those things. Do you have similar experiences at any time, or is it?
Yeah. The question was, were any particular parts of the emotional content of Mass Effect was particularly powerful, and were there any parts that affected me specifically during the recording process? Is that what you're asking? Yes. I can't talk about them because I'll cry. No. There were a couple moments where Caroline, our director, she would direct me via Skype, and I would only hear her, so I couldn't see her. I could only hear her because she was in Edmonton. And the one that stands out the most is Garrus, saying goodbye to Garrus. And I went up to the mic and I was just like, I was perfectly just ready to just speak because that's what Shepard does. And I was doing what needed to be done, and I was like, I just had to walk away from the mic. I was like, that Shepard does not cry. Cry. And I came back and I got the line out, and on the other end of the headphones, dead silence. I was like, oh, she's crying. She was like, okay. Yeah. That was one. I mean, all the goodbye stuff was hard. And some of the stuff along the way, just the things that you would see, because I have to live it. That is, if anyone's thinking about becoming an actor, you really have to look at your boundaries and your separation between yourself and your work. You got to put up an iron wall between you and that emotion because you're so raw. My job is to be so emotionally available. You have to really separate your work life from your real life because most sane people don't walk around like that. Got to put on your normal life face, and don't walk around with all those emotions hanging out everywhere. It's a little heavy on people. So it's just an occupational tool, Okay, dial it down. I'm good. What? I can watch The Walking Dead without coming apart. Okay. Yes, in the very back row.
It's very obvious for everybody in the room how committed you are to your craft and how invested you get in your character. So I'm wondering if you've ever given any thought to, or actually I do know I think you've done a little bit of in front of the camera work.
Yes.
Full body acting. I'm wondering if that's something you want to continue, and I know for me, there's only one Commander Shepard.
Yes.
Please do that.
From your lips to their ears. I would do it in a heartbeat because I don't think anybody else should play Shepard.